Whew! Gen Z. We cannot keep bailing on interviews or even showing up to a job after you've been hired. You are starting to be recognized and now being recorded. I've been hearing from local organizations and leaders that they are starting to track people that don't show up for interviews and then don't show up after they've been hired. I know you probably think this is a harmless thing, but no more. At some point, it's going to start catching up with you. So here's an article that I found a couple of months ago showcasing what the state of Louisiana is starting to do to capture these no shows. And I think this is going to spread like wildfire and pick up quickly. So let's watch.
And a workforce commission says employers are dealing with applicants who don't show up for interviews or refuse to accept the job. Kenya Ross joins us now with more on what's going on. Kenya, what's being done about it?
Jennifer, employers can now report job candidates who aren't showing up to job interviews and the ones who refuse job offers to the Louisiana Workforce Commission.
It can be really difficult for employers to manage the hiring process if they're not sure when somebody's going to show up for an interview.
The Louisiana Workforce Commission announced Monday morning that employers now have the ability to report job applicants who fail to show up for job interviews or are not willing to take a job once it's offered to the candidate. The commission says sometimes the challenges come after the interview process is over.
If you decide on a candidate and make the offer and that person doesn't accept, then you have to wrap back around, make a new decision, reach out to a new person. Sometimes you've already let folks know that they weren't the top candidate.
It's optional for an employer to report the job applicants. One local business owner on North 18th Street in Monroe says he wouldn't report a job seeker if they didn't show up for a job interview.
And I don't know the reason they didn't show up. They might have had, a sick family member, or the train made them late, or whatever the reason. But I just think that's some unnecessary step for business owners, just for simply not showing up for a job interview.
The commission says if a no-show or a job refuser is currently receiving unemployment benefits, they could potentially be disqualified from benefits if they're reported.
But if there is no obstacle to work and they're refusing work that is suitable from them, that offers a good wage, that is within a reasonable commute of where they live, then they are going to become ineligible, because at that point, we really do need them moving back into work and off the unemployment system.
And the Workforce Commission launched 2 online forums for employers to report job interview no-shows or job refusals. We'll guide you to those forms on KNOE.com. Jennifer?
In a nutshell, Gen Z, people are tired. If you look at the recent video that I just did about the rise of workplace backstabbing, there's already a lot going on for the people that are currently employed, from the leadership to the frontline folks. HR is busy. The last thing they have time to do is to figure out if somebody's going to show up or not. It is super expensive and very time consuming to be hiring people. It's basically like being ghosted in a dating situation. It's not a good feeling for anybody. And now I know there's this new term called zombied, where people come back from the dead after ghosting you. But what is happening right now in the workplace streets is that there is no room for zombieing. They are tracking people that don't show because they typically are habitual no showers. And if you listen to the video, that may affect unemployment, not just for Gen Z, of course, all across the board. But at the end of the day, we've got to handle things a little bit differently. If you have changed your mind, if you're not going to make it, do that common courtesy to the organization to let them know that you're not interested, that you're not going to make it, because it can save you at the back end. Because as you can see, this is going to catch on as like wildfire, tracking whether people are showing up or not. So don't get caught up in the system. I will tell you now that the stuff you do in your 20s that seem minuscule and unimportant can catch up to you in your 30s and beyond. You don't want to look back at the slew of burnt bridges that you've had. All right. I just wanted to bring this out there to you. Let me know what you think in the comments. Or have you recently ghosted an organization And are you concerned about being tracked? And what's the next step with that? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear from you and the new direction that employers are taking to protect themselves. All right, I'll see y'all in the next video.